Welcome to the channel. So here we are discussing the question shift distance between two strings. So you are given two strings S and T of same length and two integer arrays, next cost and previous cost. In one operation you can pick any index I of S and perform either of the following actions. Shift Si to the next letter in the alphabet. If Si equal to Z, you should replace it with A. This operation costs next cost of J, where J is the index of Si in the alphabet. Shift Si to the previous letter in the alphabet. If Si equal to A, you should replace it with Z. This operation costs previous cost of J, where J is the index of Si in the alphabet. The shift distance is the minimum total cost of operations required to transform S into T. Return the shift distance from S to T. So here basically the question states that we can perform two operations. Either we can go from A to B in forward direction, or we can go in backward direction. These are the two possibilities. So whatever you do, the cost should be minimum. So we are given the cost here, which are based on index from 0 to 26, where each index represents an alphabet, and hence we need to calculate the minimum cost. So let's take example of ABAB and BABA, these two strings. So when we take these two strings, the first character is A for S and B for T. Now we need to convert A to B. So for forward, the next cost would be 100, and for backward, the previous cost would be 1. So if we take minimum of these two, it would be 1 here. Now we go from B to A, it would be 0, because if we take the forward cost, it would be 0. If we take backward, that is previous cost, it would be 1. It would be 100, and minimum would give us 0. Now again we need to move to A to B, that is 1, and B to A, that is again 0. So hence we get our output as 2, which is our answer. So how to calculate this? First of all, what we need to do is, we will follow here simply a brute force solution, where we will compare character by character. Suppose I compare A to B. Now I compare A to B in the form of indexes, because we are given the cost in the form of indexes from 0 to 26. So we will convert our characters to 0 to 26 itself. So A is converted to 0 and B is converted to 1. Now we check if our characters are there, so what is the next cost? Now I want to calculate next cost of moving from 0 to 1. So it will be next cost of 0. So my next cost of 0 is 100. So answer becomes 100. Now I want to calculate what will be the cost if I go in reverse direction, which means the previous cost. So how we will go here is, first we will go from A to Z and then Z to B. So A to Z, which means from 0th index to 26th index. So when I move to 0th index, from 0th index to 26th index, my cost is 1. And when I move from Z to B, which means 26th index to the first index, so they are all 0, because in this the index of B will not be taken into account, because we are reaching there. So here the previous cost, which means the backward cost, becomes 1, and from here the forward cost becomes 0, 100. So we take the minimum here, and hence our total becomes 1 in this case. Now we go from B to A. So when we go from B to A, my B is 1, A is 0, same case, just the reverse, because now we need to go from B to A. Now the next cost would be, if we need to go from B to A, so first we need to go from B, yeah, so first we need to go from B to Z, and then we will go from Z to A. So when we go from B to Z in forward direction, the cost is 0. And when we go from Z to A, then also the cost is 0. So our forward cost becomes 0 in this case. Now the previous cost. For the previous cost, we will directly jump from B to A. When we directly jump from B to A, the back cost would be previous cost of 1, that will be equal to 100. So when we take minimum of forward and backward, it would be 0. And hence the same would be repeated, and answer would be 2. Because A to B for the first case was written as 1, B to A 0, A to B again 1, and B to A 0. So total will be 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0, which is equal to 2. So that is our answer. Now let's see this brute force solution in the code. So here we see the solution, where we first see if SI equal to TI, then we don't need to do anything, just we continue with the other index. And if it is not there, we will calculate the current index of the elements SI and TI, and then we will calculate the forward shift cost and the backward shift cost. So if my SI is less than equal to TI, which means here if my SI is A and TI is B, so A is less than B. So in forward case, I can directly jump from A to B, and that is what is done here. We start from index of A and move to index of B and calculate the forward shift cost. And if this is not the case, suppose we have a bigger element here, suppose T. Now T is not less than B. So if T is not less than B, then we would move to T to Z and then Z to B. So both of these steps would be moving from index of T, that is SI, to 26th, and moving from 0 to TI. 0 means here A. So this would be the approach. And then in the backward direction, if I want to move from T to B, it would be directly T to B, and that can be calculated as index of T to index of B, and we would be adding it up. So that's how we approach for this solution. And at last, we would take total cost to be minimum of forward cost and the backward cost, and hence return total cost at last. So let's see the solution here. We are taking two strings, AB, AB and B, AB. Now for the first one, We take SI equal to 0, TI equal to 1. Our next cost is 100. So our forward cost becomes 100. Now my backward cost is 1 from this calculation. So my total cost becomes 1. In SI equal to 1, TI equal to 0, we need to move from B to Z and Z to A. My forward cost is 0 and backward cost is 100. Minimum is 0, hence total is 0. And this same will be repeated in step 3 and step 4. And when we total all the cost here, so it would be 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0, and that comes out to be 2, which was our answer. So hence here just brute force worked and we got our answer. So it is a very straightforward and simple approach. So I hope you have understood this solution. Thanks for watching.